Welcome to RV Travel Adventures. Hope you're doing absolutely fantastic where you're at. In this edition, I talk about being the worst tourist. I consider myself a lousy tourist, so one of the worst tourists out there. What qualifies for being a good tourist so we can have a comparison? A good tourist is an individual that follows the direction of the tour guide, and they hold your hand and take you different destinations, and you're along with a group and you're participating in the group activity, be it in Europe, be it in the United States, be it in Mexico or Latin America or in Asia, wherever you are at. And they take you by the hand, they say, there's that famous religious infrastructure, there's the museum, there's the gift shop, there's some important piece of history, and they explain it to you, and you follow, and eventually they lead you to a certain restaurant that they're going to get a commission from. They're going to make a bit of money from, because the restaurant's going to pay them because they brought all the tourists, or the gift shop, and they're going to get some money out of that because they're going to make some commission from that. And people say, hey, thank you very much for bringing all those Americans. We greatly appreciate it. So that's your typical tourist. They need guidance, they need help, and they like being led. As compared to yours truly, I do not like being led. Luckily, my wife's almost a tour guide. She's an art historian, so when we go places, she goes, that's that. Oh, this is an important piece of art, or this is an important piece of infrastructure, the history of this type of infrastructure. She knows all that. Of course, I'm also not necessarily oblivious, and I have some experience understanding infrastructure, cultures, and stuff like that. So we work very nicely together when we do our traveling, especially to Mexico, all over the United States, and hopefully, eventually, maybe Europe. An example of being a lousy tourist is when we went to Puebla, Mexico about 15 months ago during the holidays. We drove down there with an incredibly cheap airline, to the point where they had us walking on the tarmac in Mexico. In Monterrey, we had to walk about a half a mile. Got onto the tarmac and had to walk a half a mile to get to the airplane. We didn't just go on a little, boarding area. No, we had to walk on the tarmac. It's, again, a cheap-ass airline. Okay, but we eventually got there. We're our destination, Puebla, and we had a great time. Again, where were we? In Puebla, Mexico. We did our research. That's a motorcycle, by the way, passing by. There it goes. So in Puebla, Mexico, we had a great time. We stayed at a very inexpensive Airbnb. Only cost us $28. We didn't stay at the expensive hotel, $90, $100, $200. We stayed at a $28 Airbnb. The Airbnb was rather budget. The furniture aspired to be of the quality of Walmart or IKEA. It was pretty bad, but it was clean, and it was very close to downtown. Okay, so it was fantastic for me. My wife and I enjoyed it. All we needed was a nice clean bed and a nice clean restroom, which it had. Okay. From there, we walked. We walked to town. We walked to the different communities, and if we wanted to go further, we took a small van, which is called a Combi in Mexico, went about a block, or maybe a block and a half sometimes, to catch a Combi, and jumped in the back of that van with about another 5, 6, 7 people, and we went on different, routes. Okay. The trick was to figure out which route that Combi went to. You didn't want to go there. You wanted to go there, you had to take the one that went there, not that one. Okay, so for example, we wanted to go to the main bus terminal, which fed all the way to northern Mexico, all the way to southern Mexico, all the way from Tijuana to Campeche and all those other states. We went to Cancun, Mazatlan, etc., etc. So we took the bus from there to outlying communities. So the Combi only cost like 50 cents. And the bus from the bus terminal to those outlying communities was about $2. Inexpensive. Again, we didn't go with a tour group paying $100, $200 to get that grand tour where the person held your hand and did that. And of course, we walked around quite a bit. Again, since we're still ambulatory, bipedal, since we could still walk with some, function. We were still functional human beings in that sense. So we had a great time in Puebla, Mexico, and we'd walk, a couple miles that way and go to certain lower socioeconomic parts of town and go shopping, see what people are doing for Christmas, see the different nativity scenes, and also saw in the houses above maybe a menorah. So we had different cultures. Again, we would walk to town, go to the various museums. Puebla has absolutely excellent museums. And of course, food. We'd go to the different restaurants and try to avoid as much as possible tourist restaurants. My wife wanted to go to this one restaurant, so we went and we splurged at this super fancy restaurant, and can't say no to the wife. What can you say? So we went there, but most of the time we just spent at relatively inexpensive restaurants that your typical working class, middle class Mexican would go to. We would like to go. I would like to go. My wife's been several times to Europe. I would like to go. She's been several times to New York. We're supposed to be going to New York too, so I've never been to New York. So we're planning to go to New York. And we're also planning to go to Europe. And since my wife's an expert on that stuff, especially European history and Mexican history and Latin American art and art in general, we plan to go to New York. Of course, what are we going to do when we're in New York? We're going to go to a lot of museums, a lot of galleries. She's going to explain, that's a Corinthian, that's a certain style of building, and she'll give me the grand tour, like it or not. She'll give me the grand tour. So we're obviously going to stay at some inexpensive for New York, hotel, motel. Okay. If I had my druthers, I'd camp in Central Park. I'd put my tent there and camp in Central Park, but they won't allow me to do that. So we're going to go to New York. We're also going to go to Europe. Of course, when in Europe, we're going to be carrying our backpacks, going from bus station to train station to bus station, and hiking about with our backpacks. At least that's the plan. My wife, typically, when she travels, she takes quite a bit of luggage. That's how she rolls. She likes rolling luggage. But I'm still trying to convince her to just carry a backpack. When we went to Chihuahua, we took our backpacks, and that's all we took. You can take 3 changes of clothing in a backpack easily, plus a laptop and your various electronics, your phones, your charging cables, etc., etc. So that's the same plan we plan to, at least I plan. I don't know, my wife may change, and we might deviate from that because, you have to get along with your wife. In Europe, let me say again, I would love to carry a backpack and do it economically, stay at, various small, cheap hotels, hostels, stuff like that. Would you like to travel like that in Europe? I would like to travel like that in Europe. Again, I am not of the budget. I guess if I was Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Donald Trump, people of that ilk that have a lot of money, I would stay at the Ritz-Carlton. Of course I would, because it's chump change. But chump change for me is $30. For them, chump change for them is $1,000, each according to their ability to pay. Okay. So that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about I'm one of the worst tourists around. And you may be one of the worst tourists. You may be a horrible tourist because you're not willing to pay the premium for that upscale, activity, hotel, meal, guided tour, etc., etc. I do not like doing that. I do not need to, if I was in Thailand or the Philippines or wherever people go, the Greek islands, I do not need that tour, that ferry, that expensive tour ferry that goes to a certain location. I take the regular ferry that everybody takes, but the tourist ferry, that's another thing, to that island where you can hang out for a couple hours and they bring you back. I don't like the idea of that experience. First of all, it's wasted on me. A lot of things are wasted on me. Expensive food is wasted on me. I can't tell the difference between $100 steak and a $20 steak. I can't tell the difference. Seriously, I can't tell the difference. I've gone to expensive Mexican restaurants. My wife has taken me to expensive Mexican restaurants. I say, why do we go in here? Oh, I like to celebrate. I like to make this a marker of our marriage together. And I go, oh, okay, I'll go with you. Since I'm married to you. Since I'm your husband, I'll go. And I go there and I go, I didn't really enjoy that meal. And I go to my usual haunts and I spend my $10 and I like it a lot better because I like the taste. I like how it feels to my wallet. It's not expensive. It's not a $75 meal. It's a $10 meal. So, again, this Cheapskate is not the best tourist in the known universe. I'm one of the worst tourists, okay? Hope you like this video. This has been Jesus Manuel Mena Garza. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Muchas gracias. And ring the bell for future notifications, for future notificaciones. And if you have the time, leave your kind and friendly comments below. Abajo. Muchísimos gracias. And check out my photography of my travels, because that's what I enjoy doing while I'm traveling. I may not enjoy going to the fanciest restaurant or the fanciest hotel or the fanciest island. I enjoy taking photographs. I enjoy shooting videos for YouTube. That brings me amazing amount of joy in editing them when I get back home here in Fort Worth, Texas. So again, check out those photographs at RVTA, I almost forgot for a second, rvta.myportfolio.com. That's my specific website for this channel. Okay? And if you have the time, don't forget, we do have now subscriptions. So you can subscribe to this channel, get early viewing of my videos. That's one of the perks of this subscriptions. You get, a day, several hours, a preview of what's going on this channel. So if that video is going to come out tomorrow, you get to see it today. So, wow. Exciting, huh? This is Jesus Manuel Mena Garza in my backyard. Excuse all the racket. Excuse all the noise. I apologize. Gracias. Adios. Bye-bye.